Hello, friends. Welcome to our fourth session, and the session is about demand forecasting. Before we discuss about demand forecasting, let me tell you one example. We all know that in any kind of economy, or if we take example of world's economy, we are facing problem of limited resources. So when we are using these resources, we need to be very much careful. We are using these resources in manufacturing process. We are using these resources to produce something so that we can satisfy needs and wants of, or we can say, demand of market. For example, if we have decided to produce certain product, now once we have decided that we are going to produce this product, we have decided about our production process, but we need to think that how much quantity we are able to sell, right, in near future, because on basis of our expectation to sell, we can plan for our production and other finance related activities. So demand forecasting, the role of demand forecasting is here, because without considering or without estimating market demand, if we have produced something, then it may be problem, because if we produce in a larger quantity than market demand, then we'll have to suffer. If we have produced less than market demand, then also there will be a shortage of product, and it may be possible that our competitor will take advantage of this situation. So it is very important for us to estimate future market demand, and on basis of that we can plan our production and marketing, or we can say other related activities. So let's discuss what is demand forecasting. So in this session we are going to discuss meaning and importance of demand forecasting. But before we discuss about demand forecasting, we should know about what is demand and what is forecasting. Demand, we know. If we talk about demand, so demand is desire to purchase with purchasing power. Means producer should not consider only needs and wants of market, but purchasing power, the role of purchasing power is very important in market. So when people are demanding, or when people are having desire to purchase something, along with the desire they must have purchasing power also, because their purchasing power is considered as our revenue. So first of all, we should be clear about the word demand. Then forecasting. Forecasting is a prediction about future. Now if we talk about demand forecasting, it is prediction, right, about demand in future. Now let's discuss some definitions and some concept related to demand forecasting. Demand forecasting meaning. It refers to the process of predicting the future demand for the firm's product. It is process. Process of what? It is process of predicting the future demand for the firm. In our example, we have discussed that once we have decided that we are going to produce product X, but how much quantity we should produce so that we can able to satisfy market demand. So we need to understand, we need to estimate first, right? And it is known as demand forecasting. One more definition is given here, that demand forecasting is comprised of a series of steps that involves the anticipation of demand for a product in future under both controllable and non-controllable factors. Controllable and non-controllable factors. Controllable, normally we are considering it as internal factors, and non-controllable means external factors. So when we are estimating market demand, one more thing here is mentioned. It's a series of steps. It is process. It is not only process, but it is systematic process that involves anticipation of demand for product. We are estimating demand for product in future, but we need to consider both internal means controllable and non-controllable factors, right? Okay, now I hope that it is clear what the demand forecasting mean. Predicting the future demand for a product, that is demand forecasting, helps the organization in making in one of the following areas. These are some of the points mentioned here, that why demand forecasting, or we can say how demand forecasting helps organization in making decision related to number one, planning and scheduling the production and acquiring the inputs accordingly. On basis of demand forecasting, organization can plan for the production, that how much quantity of raw material will be required by a particular unit. Scheduling, that by how much quantity we have to produce to satisfy needs and wants and to achieve our decided targets. The second thing is making the provision for finance. We know that resources are very less. There is scarcity of resources, and resources are having their own cost. So as and when you are deciding any kind of production or business related activity, you need to arrange finance first. So on basis of market demand, on basis of demand forecasting, organization can make provision for finance. Once they are expecting demand for a particular product in market, once they are expecting huge market demand for a particular product, so they will have to arrange more finance so that each and every activity related to production and other business related activities, we can say, that can be carried out easily. Next one is formulating a pricing strategy. Now how demand forecasting is related to pricing strategy? See, once you are able to understand that this particular product is demanded by the market, means for example there is huge demand of a particular product, so this huge demand is considered as opportunity for the organization to secure maximum profit by charging higher price. Once you are aware on basis of your demand forecasting that demand for a particular product will be less in future or in near future, then accordingly you can modify your pricing strategy. And one more thing is, it helps in planning advertisement and implementing it. The same example we can take here. Once you are expecting that demand for a particular product will be less in near future, then organization can plan for other marketing related activities to create or to generate awareness in minds of consumer. Once organization is expecting to sell a particular product, right, in near future, then they can make their advertisement planning on basis of this market expectation, right? So now meaning of demand forecasting is clear. Now moving further, we are going to discuss some of the important point of demand forecasting. Number one, fulfilling objectives. Demand forecasting helps in fulfilling objectives. We all know that organization is working towards achievement of any kind of objective. It may be profitability, it may be related to market share, it may be related to competition, it may be related to growth and development of organization. So demand forecasting, once you are aware on basis of demand forecasting that this particular product will be demanded in near future, so on basis of your business activities, on basis of your business strategy, on basis of executing various activities, organization can achieve objectives. The next important is preparing the budget. Demand forecasting helps organization in preparing the budget. Now, budget of what? In a budget, what we have to prepare? See, on basis of demand forecasting, once organization is estimate about future demand. So organization can prepare budget about various resources, or we can say budget, right? It may be related to cost or expected revenues. For example, an organization is forecasted the demand for a particular product which is priced at rupees 10. An organization is expecting to sell 1 lakh units in a specific time duration. Now it is clear that once organization achieve this objective of 1 lakh units to be sold, then organization will generate at least 10 lakh rupees from the market, right? So it helps organization in preparing budget, that how much investment should be required to execute any kind of business related activities. The next point is stabilizing employment and production. Now, we know that on basis of demand forecasting, organization can plan for production activity, that how much inventory we should maintain to cope up with market demand. What would be the production process? Is there any requirement for another production plant in near future? So organization can plan about production activity. But how we can stabilize employment? See, on basis of market demand, organization can plan about the recruitment activity. Producing according to forecasted demand of product helps to avoid wastage of resources. Now, once organization is expecting on basis of market demand, or we can say demand forecasting, so organization can manage employees, organization can manage human resource on basis of market demand. So you can set more employees to your production plant to cope up with market demand. One more thing is mentioned here is expanding organization. Now this is very important. How demand forecasting helps organization for expansion? See, on basis of estimating market demand, if organization realized that market demand is huge, but our production capacity is comparatively less, so within shorter or longer period of time, organization can change the size of output, or we can say the size of plant capacity. So once you have enough time to cope up with market demand, organization can expand further. And finally, once organization expand, each and every resource related to organization will be get benefited. Now the next important point is taking management decision. Demand forecasting helps management to take decision. As we know that management have to take various critical decisions, because business environment is continuously changing, and we know that in today's scenario each and every business has to operate in a risk and uncertainty kind of situation. So on basis of demand forecasting, organization can take critical decision related to investment, related to capacity of plant, or determining the requirement of raw material, and ensuring the availability of labor and capital. So it is very important for organization, and specifically those organizations which are involved in large scale production activity, they must go for demand forecasting, because on basis of market demand, they are investing their resources in several ways. So once you have generated information regarding market demand, it will become more easy for that kind of organization to manage and to get advantage of uh, diverting various resources in such a manner. Now the next thing, that demand forecasting helps organization in evaluating performance. This is very important. To discuss this point, let's take an example. Say for organization ABC is not performing as per the expectation. Now once you ask your research team, your employees, they are saying that market is not favorable for us. Not only for us, but the industry is performing less than expectation. Now on basis of demand forecasting, once you know that market demand is huge, now you will have to compare your performance with the performance of your competitor. So once you know that the competitor is performing far better than you, so on basis of market demand, you can evaluate that market demand is there, but your organization is not performing as per the expectation level, and your competitor is performing far better than you. So by having this information on basis of demand forecasting, you can evaluate performance of each and every employee and specifically department also. And on basis of that evaluation, organization can take corrective action. Now the last but not least, that it helps government. Now how demand forecasting help government? See, government is having their own target. Now for example, target related to import and export. Now on basis of our data, we can help government that this particular product is demanded by a market or by external market, or we can say this product is highly demanded in international market. So on basis of your demand forecasting data, government can plan their import and export related activities. So friends, by having this discussion with you, I hope it is now clear what is demand forecasting, what is the role, what is the place of demand forecasting in business organization, and how demand forecasting help organization to take various decisions. Now if you have any kind of confusion, again you can rewind the session and have clarity. Thank you very much.